All right, we're just gonna start here, guys. I didn't have an intro for this channel, so I got to come up with an intro for this channel just for the heck of it. But here we go. Okay, I think my chop problem is fixed. I hope. Zoom screen.
You look fine.
Okay, good.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes, we can hear you. So, okay, good. Welcome to
Michael.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome to everybody. Welcome to people in the chat. Yeah, I had like 100 people waiting after that last chat. So maybe it's another reason to do a giveaway every month so that we can flow into this one immediately after the giveaway every month. You know, that's I don't know.
I'm on the wrong channel.
I wish I could afford to do that. But what channel are you on, T.O.?
I just put a comment in the stream from my ham radio channel. This is not a ham radio stream, despite what appearances appear to be with everybody in the chat.
Right,
and
yeah.
everybody on stream.
I think most of the people who watch this channel are from the other channel, so it's not a big deal. But
pay no attention to that last comment above.
Oh yeah, living for a living. There you go. We got
that's
you
me.
in there. Yep, I see you. So yeah, we're still waiting on. I didn't get a confirmation from Kyle, but I thought he was going to be here, and KM4ACK, I thought he was going to be here as well. So we'll see if those guys join us tonight, and if not, it'll just be the 5 of us. So
we got this.
So Bill's in there. Bill, you got video this time?
Do I? Can you guys hear me?
Not really.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I got you, Bill.
But
you look stoned.
You look stoned.
He looks way stoned. I don't know what the story is with this video. I got no luck lately.
Yeah, it didn't work for you last month either. I don't know, man.
No, it didn't. That's terrible.
Has it been a month? Wow.
Yeah, it's been a month. It's actually been about 5 weeks. So, in fact, I would like to get you. It'll be a Nuggets episode, Mike says. I'd like to talk about that a little. We can kind of bring this up as a topic in a little bit. I want to talk about 2, maybe 3 things tonight. Number 1, I would like to see if we should do like a theme every month. Like the guys from Epoch Batteries were supposed to be on the ham radio live stream tonight, and I think they had a conflict arise at the last minute. But I thought it might be a fun stream on this one to talk about batteries one time and talk about solar one time and talk about maybe your favorite national park one time or something like, kind of make it a theme instead of just a free-for-all chat. So we might do something like that. And also I would like to I thought of something else a second ago, and now I lost my train of thought. But
Must have been important.
Yeah, must have been. But get the theme thing going and see if we can do something like that. And internet on the go sometime, Don says. That would be a good topic. That would be a really good topic. Yes, I agree with that. That's a good idea. So. Jason, you still want me to join the chat? I think you're in the chat, Ron. So yeah, but so let's Michael N3MFL Tortoise Overland. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about are you full-time RV? Or are you overlanding RV guy? Or tell us all about what you do.
Oh, name is Mike N3MFL. Started Tortoise Overland. We have a 150-pound African sulcata tortoise, so I can't do it full time, obviously. But that's
how he just like minimizes that tortoise part, like 150-pound
tortoise. Yeah, thanks. By the way, otherwise known as the other TO. Anyways,
okay,
I dig it.
Yeah, well, Julie and Vaughn have been calling me TO on their live streams when I contact them on the radio, and they're like, "Oh, it's the other TO." I was like, "Cute." Anyways, so I I really started. I mean, I've been camping all my life, so but I started with a Nissan Xterra, which is, in my honest opinion, not very good off road. Uh, I've been a ham radio operator for 33 years now. And I wanted to incorporate it, so I started. I finally got a Toyota FJ Cruiser, and I sent you some pictures, I think, Jason.
Yes.
And I pulled a 1970 Toyota Hilux pickup bed trailer. It was absolutely cutest thing in the world. Put a Tacoma rack on it and put a rooftop tent onto it. And then I with all the wheeling and stuff we were doing when I lived out in Tennessee and in Arizona, it was every time I had to go someplace, I had to pack up. So that's why I built the trailer, so I could have a base camp. So then I'm like, okay, base camp. The wife doesn't want to go with me because it's just the tent, and let's see if we can up our game. So 3 weeks ago, I bought an MDC forward fold Explorer, which is an Australian overlanding off-road camper. And I've literally, within the last 3 weeks, I probably have $2,500 to $3,000 tied into that thing. And we just did Near Fest, had a blast, and I'm building more. I picked up a lot of stuff for it while I was there, but I'm a Renogy fanboy. I love Renogy systems, and I actually got a Core and a 3,000 watt inverter for $300. The Core
Nice.
1 monitor and their 3,000 watt pure sine wave inverter. So I already have 200 amp hours in the FJ with a Core with the DC to DC 50 amp charger that runs off the alternator. I upgraded the alternator in the FJ to a Tacoma alternator, which has higher current, so it actually charges a lot better. I haven't done the charge mod yet, which ups the voltage. There's a little diode that you can plug into the fuse box, and it actually brings up the voltage. It lies to the alternator.
So you're talking about a DC to DC charger.
Correct. Yes, I have the Renogy DC to DC.
The Renogy one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a 50 amp.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Because I have solar that I'm going to add later.
Right. Yeah. No. That's good. So that brings up a topic right there in my mind, because I have the Red Arc DC to DC charger. It is they make two versions. They make a 25 amp and a 40 amp, and I got the 40 amp. I love that thing. I freaking love that thing. It is awesome. That 460 amp hour Epoch battery that I have in the truck, it takes a week and a half to kill that thing on a normal day. But all I have to do is basically drive to the gas station or to the mailbox. I got a private mailbox I check about 3 times a week, and it's charged back up from like 97% back up to 100.
Not the end of the driveway, like a half an hour out, half an hour back.
Well, yeah, exactly. Right, yeah. But it's about 15 minutes out and 15 minutes back, really. But I love that thing. However, I also got, so Victron makes one, and I think that's what Kyle's using. And also, I got one from EcoFlow that will charge one of their Delta stations. So it hooks into the alternator the same way that the Red Arc and the Victron does, and then it has a box that you mount probably behind your seat or under your seat or something, and it plugs into the Delta Pro series, and it will keep your Delta Pro series battery charged while the truck is running. And so I'm going to end up putting that in the back of the truck. But the DC to DC charger thing, I've been really enjoying that. My Red Arc has a built-in MPPT controller in it. So I can plug it, I think up to like, gosh, what is that? Whatever 40 amps of solar is. I guess that would be 800 watts of solar.
At least.
And
depends on the voltage.
Right. Well, yeah. But like an 800 watt panel, so like my 500 watt panel and my 300 watt panel would go in there just fine. And I'd be curious to see. I've seen the Renogy one, but I don't own one. I've never tried one. I do like the Renogy product, so I've be curious to see how well that works for you and what you think.
Well,
about
it was a toss up between Red Arc and Renogy, and there's that lovely Red Arc. You have the Lamborghini tax,
right?
There's that Red Arc tax,
Yeah.
And Victron, Victron, I've always viewed it's more for a house, more a permanent off grid thing. So I went with Renogy because they're more RV based. They have a lot of RV. That's why I got the Core 1. Because it has an auto leveling. No, that's not the reason. I got it so I can look at it with my phone. I can check it all the time. It'll tell me what my current state is. So, between the camper and my truck, when I am finished, I'm going to have 400 amp hours worth of power. I can charge the camper from the truck from the truck. I'll have solar panels on top of the camper to charge the camper. So yeah, I'm not going to have problems with power whatsoever.
No, definitely not. So Bill has a good Victron system in his. Do you have that in both of your campers, Bill, or is it just the one in North Carolina?
I have it in both. I have an older system, the Multiplus. There are Multipluses in both, and I can't tell you which versions they are. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah, you sound good.
I'm having so many problems today. I have Multiplus in the Class A with 400 amps of Battleborn, or 600 amps of Battleborn, and I have a Multiplus, one of the newer ones, smaller. It's smaller actually. I can't tell you the version in this trailer right here that I'm in, and I have 400 amps of Battleborn.
He knows the version. He just can't tell you. It's a state secret.
No, I don't remember all the specific numbers, but I'm happy with the Victron. I haven't had a problem yet. So
I did. Kyle turned me on to a channel, and I can't remember the name of the channel. I could probably go find it real quick, but they do a bunch of stuff. But one of their they built out an entire van. And like they gutted a van, is like a Dodge ProMaster, I think, and they gutted it and they built the walls in it and they wired it for everything, and they put this entire Victron system like underneath the bench seat in the back, and it's like this huge like a 2x2 by like 6 or 8 foot long box, and everything from Victron in there, just like the whole 9 yards, the AC to DC, DC to DC, solar charge controller. The Servo GX, the brain of the whole thing, internet connection, all that kind of good stuff. So I know a lot of guys, yes, they do make a lot of stuff that I would consider more of a home use, but there's a lot of guys that are using Victron for their vans and technically, I guess that is your home if you're full-time van life.
When I started out, all these batteries that you and Mike and T.O. are getting, they weren't around. And not only were they... Not only were they not around, there was no one to, like you guys do now, to tell me, oh, that's good, that's good. So all these off-brand batteries that popped up, the only thing that I consistently heard good things about at that time when I started this game was Victron and Battleborn. So that's where I went. And that's not to say that's the only way to go, but nobody was preaching the good word of Redodo or
right
in back then.
That's those guys are fairly new. We at the More Expo, you might remember this, Bill. At the More Expo last weekend, there's 2 or 3 vendors up there that sell like batteries and power stations and solar generators, as they're called sometimes, and just straight up batteries and batteries for your camper, your RV, or whatever. And there was one guy that had a Power Queen battery, and Robert was telling me that he stopped. He's like, dude, you got a Power Queen, and that guy's like, yeah, I don't know why people pay that kind of money for those, because Power Queen and Redodo are great batteries. So I keep telling Kevin from Bioinno, I was like, dude, you need to go to one of these overland shows and just have your batteries and your power stations, your solar panels out there, because the price of the Bioinno stuff as compared to the stuff that's at these shows, he would clean up. He would probably go home empty-handed. He'd have he'd have a pocket full of money and no inventory once he went home.
So the Power Queen that I have in my truck that was recommended by maybe you, but definitely by Mike K8 MRD.
Mm-hmm.
It I think it cost me, I don't even remember, maybe $500, I think, and that's virtually $3,000 worth of Battleborn. So the price difference, for a long while, Battleborn was $1,000 for 100 amp hours, and now you can get 300 amp hours for, I don't know what's the price now on the Power Queen. 300.
Oh, it's got to be like, $299, something like that.
Yeah.
For 300 amp hours, I think it's probably like, I don't know. It's not that cheap, is it?
No, I think it's a little bit more for the Power Queen anyway.
Yeah.
But
it's still like the Battleborn's probably $3,000 though.
The Battleborn 300 amp hours is about right at $3,000. You know what? You might you get some change back, but you spent right at $3,000. But they only started coming down when you guys started talking about these other batteries being, reliable.
I think that's
done for sure.
Yes. I think that Battleborn and Epoch, I think Epoch is kind of a Battleborn competitor. I think these guys are really, really, really high quality stuff that especially if you're like up north. I mean, like these Alaskan cabin guys and my wife started watching a lot of channels about Alaskan cabin and wilderness, and I keep asking her when she wants to move up there, and she hadn't answered me on that one yet. But it's
summer vacation.
Those things in really, really rough environments, those Battleborns are probably going to perform better. But where we live down here, where we don't have sub 20, 30, 40 degree temperatures during the winter, and I mean, Phoenix, Arizona, I guess if you live out there, you might have some extreme temperatures in July. But I don't think you can compare the batteries apples to apples 100% of the time, because I think they probably work better in more harsh environments. But how often are you in those harsh environments? And that's the question you have to ask yourself.
And whether they work better or not, they can afford to be more gracious with customer service.
That's true.
So like I said, I'm invested, and what I find is, so I hate to change the subject. What I find is, it's a 100 amp hour battery, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can put them together, right? No. Well, why not? Because the BMS from one battery, 100 amp hour battery, operates differently from the BMS from another 100 amp hour battery. So you can't mix and match. But I don't know. I'm happy with the ones I have, and like I said, I'm experimenting with the Power Queen right now to see how it's gonna do.
Good.
See, I hold issue with that.
With what?
With different BMSs, because if you think about it, it's only drawing from the source to recharge your battery. So the BMS will charge differently, but eventually they will top out at or about equal, and the only difference is going to be on the draw from the batteries. So the charging should be fine. It's just the draw. One battery might draw more than the other. I don't see an issue with that.
I'm coming to your way of thinking. So I'm
going to test it out.
You're going to test it out now. But when this bank of batteries, of course, they're going to always fail. I think a couple are 2 years old, a couple are 4 years old, and when they start to fail, one by one, I'm gonna test that idea out, Michael, because I'm kind of leaning toward your way of thinking.
See, that's like with my Renogy batteries. I make a joke that they're Bluetooth, and they're like, "What? You don't have to have wire?" I said, "No, they just sit there and they just pass the power across. They're like Tesla batteries." But anyways, they're actually Bluetooth, so they tie to my core. And I got a text the other day that told me I had one cell that was below voltage. It said you need to charge, to bring this cell up. The cell dropped to like 2.8 volts, and I was like, oh, that's odd. So I charged, and everybody was happy. But I got a text that said that cell is bad. When you start getting bad cells, that's when you start worrying about it. So that's why I like the feedback from the Renogy that says, hey, look, you got a bad cell in this battery, or you have a low cell. So you pay attention to that cell, you remember it, and then if it drops down again, then you know you have an issue with that battery. I've only had these batteries for a year, so I think there's a 2-year warranty on the battery, if I'm not mistaken. So if I have more issues with it, then I'll just say, hey, look, there's a bad cell in this. Can we get a replacement?
That's another thing. I'm not sure about Battleborn, but Dakota Lithium and Epoch both have 11-year warranties on their battery.
Oh, wow.
That's nice.
Now, I mean, you're paying for it because you can probably buy 2 or 3 Redotos for the price of one of those. But again, it comes down to reliability and, how long they're going to, if they're willing to warranty their batteries for that long, then, they get my vote, generally speaking. So, want to welcome Jason, KM4ACK. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Oh, man, can't complain. Sorry, I was running behind tonight.
That's all right. It's good to have you on the chat. And tell us about, I know you're not full-time in the RV, but you've been in the RV space, I think, for maybe a little bit longer than I have. So tell us about what you, are you going to pull it to Dayton next month or next week, I should say?
No. And in fact, Dayton is a bit up in the air for me right now. I may not even get to attend at all, but I've got a hotel room booked for that.
Okay.
With my day job, it's always down to the wire. Hopefully we're going to make that happen, but I don't know yet. But because it's so close, I bring it to Hamcation. We bring it down to Huntsville, but Dayton's a little bit too tight of a time schedule.
Gotcha. All right. Well, what do you? You've got to tell us about what you are using right now.
So we bought a 2021 ePro FD19S, I believe it's the one with the slide on it. We bought that new in 2021 and have enjoyed it ever since. We're not full time by any means, but we do spend quite a bit of time in the RV. We spent the entire month of February this year in the RV. Went down to and still married.
Well, that's always good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, we went down to Hamcation in February and then continued on down to the Keys. We spent a couple of weeks down there, and then overall it was pretty much the entire month of February that we were gone.
That's and I was just talking to my wife about that the other day because we've been back and forth about hitting the road full time, or at least not really full time, but for 3 or 4 or 5 months or something like that. But I told her the other day, I was like, let's try to schedule some 2 to 3 week road trips and just go somewhere,
Yeah.
Cause that's a good thing to, cause I told her, I said, what we should do is sell. We paid off the house 2 or 3 years ago. This house that I'm in the studio, the Ham Shack, for those of you who know what that is. And cause it's not a ham radio channel, right? But right. The house we're living in right now, we paid that off 2 or 3 years ago. We've got our Galveston house that's a vacation rental that we own. We go down there when it's not being rented. And I had the idea to hit the road around March, April, and we can conveniently find our way in Dayton, Ohio around May, and then just kind of head up north to where it's a little bit cooler during the months of June, July, and August. And August, we might end up in Alabama for some unknown reason, and then after that, we always go with family, her family. We always go to Galveston. We've been doing this for longer than we've had our house down there. We always go and spend Labor Day weekend down there, and ever since we've owned the house, we usually go for a week or 2. But my idea was, I was like, let's stay on the road for 4 or 5 months, and then at Labor Day we'll go to Galveston, and we'll just stay there until Christmas or New Year's, or through several times we've stayed for the entire month of February down there because there's nobody that rents those houses during that time of year generally. But I was just like, and then, in March next year, we'll hit the road and stay on the road for 5 months and then end up back in Galveston. And then the house is being rented when we're not there. So we got a little bit extra income coming in that way. And then we're using it when we're not on the road. But anyway, it's something we're kicking around. I don't know. But yeah, you were at Dayton last year, weren't you? You were doing
yes.
your Yeah, you guys did your what'd you call it? The scavenger hunt thing or whatever it's called?
The Hamvention challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that going on again this year?
No, we do not have that scheduled this year. Just with some extra things I had going on with a day job, I couldn't take it on again.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope you make it. We're going to be on the Ham Radio channel this time next week to talk about plans for Hamvention, which is the following weekend. So I hope you can make that, even if you can't make it to Dayton, but hope you make it to both.
Well, hopefully I'm going to be covered up next Sunday and will not have a chance to make it. If that's the case, then I will be in Dayton.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Is it all just weather contingent?
Yeah. Okay. That's what it is. We had 2 solid days of rain this weekend. Yeah. And I've got a bunch of catch up to do next weekend.
Okay. So it rained on us here pretty much all week, and then they were threatening rain on Saturday, but Saturday, yesterday, and today has been clear skies, sunny. It was like 55 degrees both mornings. Beautiful day both today and yesterday. It's been an awesome weekend out here in North Texas. So I wish that on you for next weekend so that you can make a Dayton.
Jason, tell those kids to snap a selfie and wait.
That's right. Yeah.
Just let AI process it for you.
Totally. Yeah. Absolutely.
I wish it were that easy.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for being here either way, man. It's good to have you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to keep you guys on the list, and you guys are welcome to join us next time as well. So, and I want to come up with some topics and themes to talk about rather than just a free-for-all. But we're still finding our sea legs on this channel, on this particular podcast, live stream, whatever you want to call it. So,
hey, Steve just suggested, he just touched on a good one there. Anytime that you're talking about starting any kind of, it doesn't even have to be full time, but spending a significant amount of time with a person that you're in a close relationship with, in a very small space, that's going to put a lot of stress on a lot of things. It's going to pull some skeletons out of the closet. That would be an interesting topic.
Here's one that's close to my heart, because I've had a trailer stolen. Security.
Oh, yeah.
You buy a trailer and you think of all the wonderful things that you're going to do and all the wonderful places you're going to go, but you don't realize there's some maniac out there who's just waiting for you to leave it unattended and they will drive off with it. So security, maybe.
That's a good one.
I cheated. Yeah. I worried about that my first year with a smaller RV, but this one's 36 foot, and you need a special kind of truck to tow this one.
It's going to be kind of tough. Yeah, I got a 16-footer, so it's way more likely to go before yours goes, Steve.
I've got a solution for that. I have the Australian rock and roll hitch. So if they back up and go, that's not going to work and pull away.
They hooked up to my they didn't hook up to the hitch. They wrapped chains, and it's on video, but the video didn't have the quality to see the license plate. They wrapped chains around the frame by the hitch and pulled it away to somewhere convenient where they did their devilment.
Yeah.
So they don't need to hitch it.
This was in Phoenix?
This was in Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's why I don't live in Phoenix anymore.
Yeah. Oh, that's one
we don't
reason.
stop in Phoenix anymore. Yeah.
Well,
made that mistake once.
The wheel lock would prevent that for sure. But
yeah.
I've always just done a tongue hitch on mine, and quite frankly, it's not. There's a lot of times where I don't even do that. I just haven't really worried about it. But if you're gonna leave it unattended for an extended period of time, absolutely, I lock mine up. But I guess you could totally wrap a chain around the end of the tongue there and pull it without the, though there's a tongue lock on it. Wow, that's
they did.
Wow, it's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy. So
tie a chain around a tree.
right, yeah. Steve, where are you right now?
I am in Wisconsin, and we're up here to see one of the grandkids. We had 2 delivered in February. We got up here after the snow melted. And then we're going down to Iowa to see the second one. After
Amazon delivers grandkids now?
They do.
That wouldn't surprise me.
That's what I'm telling myself.
I
have la 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 la. I have no idea how it happens.
You have daughters, right? Yeah.
I have 5 daughters. Yeah, I have no idea how that happened.
Yeah. Ouch. That's terrible.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Five daughters, 3 granddaughters, and now a grandson finally.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations, Steve.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that one grandson.
Yeah.
Right.
They're all good.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I can give them back. Take this thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, there's not much to do up in this area in terms of campsites. I mean, if I told you I'm in Wisconsin and the town that I'm in, so y'all know where I'm at. There's only one. Like,
Yeah.
I'd want to open up a campsite here because it would be full year round.
So here's something that I just let me talk to Mike, and then I was reminded of something when you said that, Steve. Mike, where are you at right now?
We are in Southern California, so I'm just over the mountains to the north from Los Angeles.
Nice.
Sunny California.
Is it raining out there?
It's cloudy and it's about 50.
Okay.
Not bad. I won't complain.
That's not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we were at the More Expo last weekend, Bill and I and a few of the guys in the chat right now. And Steve at Alpha Antennas has bought some property outside of his shop where he builds his antennas and whatnot, his corporate headquarters. And I didn't quite understand what he was saying, but I think that there's there's a state park. I think it was a state park, not a national park. That's just right on the other side of the property where he bought. So he bought some acreage. And I don't think it's anything. I think it's 10 or 15, 20 acres, something like that. It's not huge, but it's, more land than I got. And he's going to build it into he's going to put some RV hookups there. He's going to put some campsites there, and he's going to invite people to come out, and then you can basically just walk to the state park from there. So you can go out there and hook up and stay for several nights and camp and do the campsite thing, and then go do POTA by foot if you want to. So I've talked for a long time about doing a Ham Radio 2.0 gathering. I want to do a gathering for overlanders, 4x4 guys, tent campers, whoever. I mean, everybody's welcome. Doesn't matter. And I've wanted to do that in a national forest because, as you guys know, national forests, they're free to camp. So we can go pick a national forest somewhere and say, let's meet here. Jason, what's the with 3 words thing? Tell me about that again, because I thought about that the other day as far as pinpointing an exact location.
Yeah, it's just an app that you can download on your phone, and any point you click on, it will give you 3 unique words that you can either share or just give someone those words verbally. The only gotcha with that is make sure that you are very clear on whether a word is plural or not. If I give it to you singular and you type it in plural, I don't know exactly where you will end up at.
Well, that's
nice.
Yeah, I got to. Yeah, but it's like accurate to what, within like 6 or 8 feet or something like that. It's pretty.
Oh, I think it's like a 3x3 square. I think every 3x3 square has its own unique 3 words on the map.
That was pretty cool. You were using that at Hamcation, and I'm like, that's kind of. I heard about a project like that several years ago, and I never heard how it came out, but. We just talk about 4 or 6 digit grid squares in ham radio, but that's unique. So you could go set up in a national park and just say, I'm just going to go out there like a few hours early and kind of find a spot, because it's all like dispersed camping and whatnot. And then you could, with 3 words, to all your buddies and say, okay, guys, y'all meet me right here. And then you could probably find people pretty easily like that. So
yeah, but there's a link you can share from within the app.
Okay.
So that I could just text you that link, and if you've got what 3 words installed, as soon as you click on that, it'll open it up in your app and show you exactly where it is.
Gotcha. Okay, that's a cool. If you're gonna do some really off-grid camping and dispersed camping and just find a site somewhere camping, that could be. I can see that being a very valuable tool to meet up with people and tell people where you are, and especially if you're coming from different locations and all meeting in the same place. So it might be kind of fun.
I mean, even if you're at a big gathering, More Expo, I'm not sure how many RVs are out there, but take Hamcation, for instance. That's a pretty big field that's got RVs in it. I mean, you can get it right down to the exact RV you're in with that What 3 Words app. So it makes it convenient even in instances like that.
That's another good one. Is what are some good apps to have on your phone for overlanding/RV? I use iOverlander, and I have All Trails on the phone, but I haven't used it much. But Kyle and I went to a forum presentation at More Expo last weekend about mostly about Gaia GPS, but he talked about that OnX app as well. Mm-hmm. So that might be a good topic for an upcoming live stream to talk about what apps are your go-to apps while you're on the road and doing this kind of stuff. Yeah, good. Cool.
I think Freddie Mike needs to give us a show on how to boondock, where to find good locations to boondock. Mike knows all about it.
Yeah, Camp India map. That's a good one there.
Yeah, there's tons of websites for that. Apps.
There's a lot of resources out there that I don't know anything about because I've never actually sat down and researched. But the iOverlander app is cool because you can look up places to get water, sometimes free water. You can look up dump stations. You can look up places. Dispersed camping with full hookups, all kinds of stuff. If you're making a long trek and want to fill up on propane or water before you get there and not haul it all the way, you can find places like that to do, fill up the freshwater tanks and whatnot. So I've used that a bunch of times, and I like the fact that you can check into it as well. I've checked into this campsite. You can give feedback on it. I kind of like that, doing that sort of thing, but. Yeah, that's okay. So I'll put that one down on the list for what apps are good to have when you're doing this type of thing. So, but anyway, that thing that that Steve at Alpha Antenna, he was talking about, I don't think it's quite ready yet, and I'm going to talk to him next week at Hamvention. But I thought that'd be an excellent spot to do our first gathering, and just invite people out. We're going to hang out for 2 or 3 nights, set up the Devos lights and the fire pits, and then we're going to walk over and do POTA during the day at the state park that's right next to it. So more to come on that later. I'll share that with you guys when I have more information about it.
Jason, where's he located?
He's in Missouri. He's not too terribly far from the More Expo's in Springfield, Missouri, and I think he's like 2 hours. I want to say north, but that might not be right. He's 2 hours from 2.5 hours maybe from Springfield. I don't remember what direction, but yeah.
Over in Kyle's neck of the woods.
Yeah, kind of. Yep. So, good. Who did we lose?
Bill and
Bill.
Oh, Bill dropped.
Michael.
Okay. Yeah, well, he's still on there. He just turned his camera off, but yeah, Bill's having internet connection, maybe. I don't know. So cool. Let's see. Harvest Host. Okay, so I signed up for Harvest Host last month or something like that. And Jason, you've used that. What's your opinion on that one?
We use it quite a bit when we're traveling for quick overnight stops. It's nice. We try to find one with either a brewery or a restaurant. Both of those are nice because they suggest that you spend $25-$30 with each host. So if they've got a restaurant, then that just means we can go in and have dinner and not have to cook that night. Yeah. And be able to stay there. But we usually are a quick in and out on those. We're arriving right before dark, and then we're usually cutting out of there early the next morning. So that's about the only time, we typically use it.
That's what Harvest Host is good for.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Boondockers Welcome is very similar. In fact, I think they're co-owned now if you want to stay more nights than just the one. But if you're just traveling through, then Harvest Host is the one you want.
Well, now Harvest Host just changed their rules. A lot of places will now allow multiple nights.
Oh, good.
Okay.
So,
and it's free to camp at Harvest Host. They just ask you to spend money with whoever the host is, right?
Yep. Correct. Well, yes. The majority of them are free. Some of them will offer, say, electric and water hookups for a fee per night. So $15, $20, $25 a night.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, basic stay is free.
Yeah. Okay. It costs like what, $75-$80 for an annual membership, something like that, and then it's you can use it pretty much as you want to, and they just ask you to spend money with the It'd be cool to stay at a brewery. We're going to, my wife and I are going to Colorado on a road trip, but we're not taking the RV. We're going to stay. Her cousin has a cabin up there. I always forget the name of the town, but we're going to stay in the cabin a couple nights, and we're going to stay in the national park 1 or 2 nights. And we had looked at a Harvest Host for one of those nights when we're going to be in a certain area, and they didn't have anything at all. So, what's the other one you said, Mike?
Boondockers Welcome.
Boondockers Welcome. I'll have to write that down.
And a lot of times they'll be for 3 to 5 nights, but you could do it one night as well.
Backyards and stuff.
Yeah. So instead of being farms or wineries, or there's even a few distilleries on Harvest Hosts. Yeah, it's at people's houses, or sometimes it's at their businesses.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's quite a few of those. In Tennessee, my buddy of mine is on, I think, Harvest Host, and another one for his property because he overlands, and he's like, you know what? I have property. Why don't I open it up? And it's in White House, Tennessee. And he goes, why don't I open up certain sections of my property? It's dry camping. And there's no water, no electric. Yeah. But it's a certain amount of night. And I think it's like 5 to 7 nights, something like that.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, I mean, information like that, this like stuff that I don't know. I mean, I would have never known. My wife found she found out about Harvest Host on some video she was watching, and then when I met up with Jason on the way to Hamcation this last February, he was like, "Oh, we're going to stay at a Harvest Host," and I'm like, "Tell me about that, because I've heard of it, and I know a little bit about it, but I don't know anyone personally who's done it." And then we talked about that a little bit back then. So, and a lot of times these guys, Freddie Mac is sharing the link to their website in the chat, and I don't have a discount code, but some of these places will have a discount code where you can get like 20 or 30% off for the first year or something like that. You can find those with some of the larger RV YouTube channels, but that's a great idea. It's a great idea to have places that you can stay that are not just like a slab of concrete with a bunch of RVs on it out in the middle of nowhere.
Right. So, yeah. That's
good.
I use Overland Bound. I've been an Overland Bound member for like 7 years, 8 years now. I absolutely love it. I've never had any problems with it. You can download the maps to your phone, and I also have Onyx to back up. You got to have one to back up the other. I have Onyx and I use Overland Bound, and I've been, like I said, an Overland Bound member for a long time, but always have a backup to your backup.
Right.
Right. And in Overland Bound, you can go in and people leave little nuggets like, hey, this is a great place. Check this place out. So, I mean, if you're going to go someplace and you don't want to drive the highways, but you want to go the back roads and overland, literally, you could follow your path. You can go, hey, I want to go here to here. Show me what there is. I enjoy it. I fully enjoy it. There's nothing in Massachusetts to to camp, but it's all up north in Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, New York. Massachusetts doesn't have a whole lot of off-roading or overland camping stuff, but New England as a whole up north does. But as soon as you start hitting Pennsylvania and moving west, you will definitely find a lot more.
It's good to know. Okay. Cool. Thanks, Kevin. Thank you for joining us tonight. So, Dawn N5SKT says the 3 words near my house is saddest maddening signature. You get some, that might be a fun experiment to see where the weirdest thing you can find is. Oh, that's fun. Okay. Good. So, Steve, you're going to Dayton, right?
I am.
Yeah. Are you guys taking the RV down there?
No, I'm actually going solo. I'm renting a car and I'm staying in an Airbnb.
Right. Okay. Good. Are you guys on the waiting list?
I am.
For the RV spots at Xenia?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't even know. I wonder if my RV is too big to fit in there.
The one I'm renting this year is a 35-foot. Or 32-foot, maybe, something like that.
Are they delivering it for you, or you got to pick it up and haul it?
No. I asked them to. have gone either way. I asked them to deliver it, so that way they can pick it up also. But the guy who's camped next to me for the last 2 or 3 years has one of those big Class A coaches.
Oh God, I hate those.
There's do you see? I would love to have. I would love to rent one of those and drive it around for a week and see how much I think I might like it. I may end up hating it. I don't know, but
so not much for overlanding.
No.
That's more of an RV thing. Yeah,
that's glamping.
So, yeah, that's glamping. That's correct.
To a Wonder Lodge.
Mm-hmm.
Be awesome.
Jason, once you saw the fuel bill, you'd probably turn it in.
Probably so. Yes.
I think I get 7 to 9 miles a gallon diesel on mine.
Yeah, that's what I got towing
At
my
the
big
best.
trailer.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
It's the first one I ever bought, and I like it, but
Let me get you my code for mud flap. I got diesel for less than $3 a gallon. 2 days
I
ago.
want your code. I mean, back in my day, I remember when diesel was always less than gas.
Yeah.
For years, diesel stayed at 94 cents a gallon.
Mm-hmm. It's the sludge at the bottom of the barrel.
Exactly.
It should be cheaper, but they wised up to the fact that all these trucks use diesel and they travel across the United States 150 times a month, and you're like, oh, let's just charge more for it.
I just shopped around, and my cheapest was $4.25.
Oh wow, sheesh!
I remember in 1997 when I got out of the service, diesel was 99 cents and off-road was 79 cents a gallon. I went, what? What happened?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Mud flap discount. Get a credit for free fuel.
That's what I was just talking about. Yeah.
Is that just that you're the one sharing it?
Yep.
Is that only diesel?
No, it's any gas
gasoline?
station that works with it. I don't know if they will do gasoline because I've never tried it. But I pull into the trucker lanes, and sometimes I can just punch in the code in the gas pump itself. Sometimes I've got to go into the whatever the counter is that does that. But with the big truck and the big trailer, it's a lot easier to pull into the trucker lanes than it is to try and maneuver into a regular size small gas station.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, is you have a 450, right?
I do.
And is it diesel or gas?
It's diesel, and then I've got the extended fuel tank. We got a 90 gallon fuel tank in the truck.
Oh,
bed.
that's right. I remember that. You can go forever.
So $300 or $400 to fill up my tank. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, could you send me that link, Discord? Because if I touch anything on this screen, I'm gonna.
I got you.
It's gonna drop again.
At 7 miles per gallon, I'm actually able to drive faster, quote unquote, than the bulk tank can fill up the inboard tank. So I actually sometimes when I have the bulk tank full, I still have to pull off and get fuel and then get back on the road and keep going. But if I go like 6 hours and park, when I wake up the next morning, my gas tank's full again. My diesel tank's full
funny.
again.
Oh, that is funny. That is funny.
Yeah, mine
I got gas, but I can't go nowhere.
Yeah.
I can actually fill up as I drive, so I'll drive it down to about half a tank, and then I'll pull over somewhere and open the little ball valve, and then I can gas up while I'm driving.
That's wild. Okay. How big is your extra tank, Mike?
It's we just got 40 gallons because we wanted to be able to have a bed cover. So once we arrive somewhere, we got a bed cover that goes over the tank and the fifth wheel hitch, and then we've got a lockable, usable space at that point.
Gotcha.
Nice.
I figured out, and I think this works on diesel. I'm not 100% sure, but it absolutely works on gasoline. If you download the Love's Truck Stop app, and recently I think Pilot got wise to it, so now you can get the Pilot Flying J app. I forget what it's called, but just search the Google Play Store. You can get 10 cents a gallon off of gasoline.
And their showers are nice and clean.
Yes, that's true. But the app doesn't cost anything. There's no membership. Kyle told me about it when we were on the road to Yellowstone. After we met up with him at Yellowstone last year, and we're driving around through Montana and whatnot, and doing some POTA stuff, and he's like, "Oh yeah, just download the app." I'm like, "Okay, but how long is that going to last?" He's like, "I've been using it for over a year," and that was
Doesn't matter. as long as it lasts to the end of my fill up, I don't care.
That's true. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. But that was July of last year, July of 2024, and I downloaded it then. I've been using it ever since. And my wife was going through our credit card statement the other day. She's like, "You sure do like Love's Truck Stop?" And I'm like, "It's 10 cents a gallon off. Why shouldn't I like it?" I mean, so it's so every time when we hit the road to go to Dayton here in about 9 days, that's where I'll be stopping is the Love's Truck Stops to get the 10 cents a gallon off. And in the more rural areas, gasoline is higher than it is here anyway, but you're still like if you've got a TA, a Pilot, and a Love's all in like one corner or within 2 exits of each other, and they're all like, say, I don't know, $2.75 a gallon, well, then you can get it for $2.65 a gallon at the Love's because you've got the app on your phone. So it's worth it. I think it's worth it. You can get other discounts inside as well. I think maybe they give you a discount on the shower stuff as well. I've never tried that, but anyway. So if you're gonna make road trips, go download one of those apps. They're well worth it, especially since they're free. But this Mud Flap, I've never heard of that. I'll go check that out as well.
I've
got another one called Upside also, and I try and play them against each other. Upside will definitely do gasoline, and they'll also do like fast food and grocery stores.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so my last fuel up was $311.28 for 105.9 gallons, and they billed me in 2, and I got $40 discount.
Okay.
So totally worth it.
Yeah.
Because I pay for it, so all I have to do is go to a fuel stop that's near me.
Yeah.
After you've unhooked.
Yeah. I try to do it before I get hitched up and ready to roll, but with the trucker lanes, it's not bad. You pull in, you fuel up, and then you pull forward out of the way, and then you go inside and pay.
Right. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, 46 cents a gallon off. $48.71 saved. Yep, that's it.
Yeah, I tell you what. $2.95
Yep.
down in bottom side of Rhode Island has got that's not bad for gas prices. It's gas prices in New England are insane. It's stay away from Boston if you want to get gas. That's all I got to say.
Wow.
Yep. You're paid $4 plus a gallon.
Wow, for gasoline or for diesel?
For 93 gas.
Oh, you're putting the super unleaded or the high octane stuff in?
Yeah, you got to run the good stuff or get that valve clap.
Get the clap.
Get the clap.
Get the valve clap.
My old truck used to ping really bad. The engine would ping really bad if you put the cheap like racetrack gas in there.
Yep.
But my current truck, it doesn't really do that. I don't have any. Although I have put some mid-grade, some like 90 or 91 octane in it a couple times when I'm pulling something, and I notice a little bit of a difference, but gas prices are so high these days anyway. I always put the cheap stuff in. If I was on the road full time, I might change my mind on that. I don't know. We'll see. But
when the Slate comes out with a little bit more horsepower.
Yeah. True.
That'd be a great little camping vehicle. 4-wheel drive and electric. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
By the way, Jason, how you enjoying that new RV?
We've only used it the one time, and
I want to hear about that trip.
Yeah. It was great. We took it down to Big Bend in April, and we stayed for I think 3 nights. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yes, we stayed for 3 nights. And then on Thursday, we drove through Guadalupe Mountain State Park, or National Park, sorry. And we activated. We went in and saw the visitor center and whatnot. And I found a really cool spot that we should get with the soda guys about, because I think there's a cool, there's like a 4.5 mile round trip hike to the top of Guadalupe Mountains. So you could hike up there and camp that night and then hike down the next day. So maybe a soda trip in our future, we'll see. But it's going to have to be in like March or April. We can't do it in July. You'll kill yourself. And then we went out to Carlsbad, New Mexico, and we stayed right outside of Carlsbad Caverns for a couple nights there, and then drove home.
Nice.
No problems. The battery issue that I was having in the video that I posted, I figured that out. The place I got it, I emailed them with some questions. They were not much help at all. The newest thing, it's off topic, but I'll finish this statement first. But it's got the new trailer has two 200-watt panels, so 400 watts of solar. I got a really big 460 amp hour battery I'm about to put on it, and the only thing that didn't work on that trip was the water pump. I didn't have, for whatever reason, they put the city water connection and the freshwater tank at the very front on the driver's side of the trailer, and I'm used to having it on my last two trailers. It was on the back. So I have a short hose because I didn't want a bunch of hose laying on the ground. So I have a short hose. Well, it barely reached to the city water connection at the Big Bend site we stayed at. It reached, but it put a little bit of strain on it. So I thought, I'll just fill up my fresh water tank and use that for the shower and the sink. And when it's depleted, they had dump sites right there at the campsite. I'll just fill it up again. But I couldn't get the water pump to turn on. And after I tinkered with it a little bit, you can how you hear a water pump when it's running. You hear it's like brrr. Most of them are pretty loud. This one you can't hear. I figured out later it is running, but we had no pressure. So something's not right in there with the water pump. I don't know what it is. I haven't had time to tinker with that yet. But the heater AC worked great. All the battery system, the inverter, the charge controller, all working really good. So far so good. I'm not taking it to Dayton because I'm gonna rent a larger trailer and have some folks stay with me. But I'll be bringing it to Huntsville in August.
Yeah,
I wonder if
an
that
emergency
water
thing
pump.
you can do. Go ahead, Jason.
I was just going to say, I wonder if that water pump needs to be primed.
Yeah.
It
And a lot of them are
shouldn't.
self-priming now. But you
Yeah.
have to let it.
Right.
You got to let it go for a while. You might
Yeah.
need to let it run for a few minutes.
And I have an older system that you change from city water to onboard water.
Yep.
So city water
there's a valve.
provides its own pressure. So
Right, it's
pump-
its own pressure. Okay, so the
pump wouldn't work if you had the switch on city water.
Under the
Okay.
That's an
cabinet
older
somewhere
system.
inside.
They're
I
all
don't-
different.
This is the third RV I've owned. I owned a Dutchman, a 2011 Dutchman, and then that Nightmare Salem that I still have. Neither one of those had a switch. You just plugged in city water, and it was the pressure of the city water. In fact, you usually wanted to put a filter on it,
Too high.
because the pressure can be too high from the city.
Right.
And or you would fill up the fresh water tank, and that's what and I used a fresh water tank more than I used anything else because we're out at the deer lease and we're boondocking. So we have a 50-gallon drum. My buddy Jake and I that camp out there, he camps next to me. We we take this empty 50-gallon drum home, we fill it up with water, bring it back in one of our trucks, and then we put 25 gallons in my trailer, 25 gallons in his trailer. We've done that for the last 3 years. And once you have water in the fresh water tank, you just turn the pump on, and you can hear the pump kind of prime itself, and then it stops. And then you flush the toilet or you turn the sink on, and then the pump will go while the water's running, and then you turn the water off, and it goes, and it pressures itself again. And I don't have a switch to switch back and forth between the two on the two previous trailers I've owned. If this trailer has a switch, I haven't found it because there's a bunch of the switches for almost everything are in the bathroom, and the solar charge controllers in the bathroom.
Would be right next to your RV water pump. It'd be a water switch, not an electric switch.
A valve, yeah.
Mine is a valve, so it's a valve on my Class A. It's older. It's a valve right at the city water area. So
underneath, you have to get up underneath it.
You have to lift the door.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to get in. Yeah,
you got to get underneath. But depending,
you can check on that.
Check because it's a valve. I didn't mean switch. I'm sorry about that. It's a valve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when they cold storage and put the RV antifreeze in, there's a bunch of valves and a procedure that they do. And if you do not reverse that procedure, then a lot of times you will not have water. So you have to check that procedure to make sure that you know how to undo it.
And so they're all different depending on how they're plumbed.
Yeah.
So when I drove to Indiana to pick up this trailer, and when I got it, they told me it had been winterized, and I'm like, okay, let's undo that. And he showed me where all those valves were, and he's like, you turn this one. I think there's only 2. And we supposedly, unless he told me wrong, and it wouldn't be the first thing he told me that was wrong, we undid all that because I don't winterize my campers. I've never winterized my camper because that's the primary time I use mine. Yeah. Is at the hunting lease from November to February in Texas. That's usually what I do. But I'll check that. That's a good point.
Jason,
but supposedly that was done already. Yeah.
Do you have a antifreeze inlet near your city water connection?
No.
Okay.
Well, not on the outside. I mean, if I got up underneath it to where all the piping comes down, maybe. I haven't looked in there.
There might be a hose under the sink.
So on the back of mine, I've got 3 ports that I can connect to. One's a black tank flush, one's city water, and the other one is an antifreeze intake. And that uses the water pump, and I have to switch the valve to be sucking from that instead of from the fresh tank.
This
because
probably
it uses the water pump.
Okay. It's probably something like that. No, there is no inlet valve next to the city water for antifreeze. There's the freshwater tank and the city water connection, and that's all that's over there. And I've got a black tank flush, but it's on the back side of the camper, so it's not near the other 2. But I don't have anything that says... He might be right.
It might be somewhere else, like under a bench seat or something.
Could be.
So I was going to tell you, in an emergency, when you don't have your water pump working, you don't have city water, go to your low point drain and just open that up with a bucket and catch some water, and there you go. Now you've got water.
Oh, that's a thought.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
You could also put hose spigots on there, hose bibs on there, and then use that. So you can have like outdoor hot water if you wanted it.
Right.
If you don't have an outdoor shower. I think
true.
you've got an outdoor shower on yours, though.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Something else, if he told you that you could plug a solar panel right into that little port on the side,
don't believe
that was a lie, too.
You can't do it.
That,
I think we have to mention that every stream from now on, Jason.
Actually, on my Nobo, that's true because it has the built-in charge controller.
Okay.
On the Salem, on the problem child trailer that I have.
The trouble trailer, I like that.
Yeah, it has the solar on the side. He's like, just plug a panel into it, and I'm like, where's the charge controller? I don't think it has one. I'm like, that's terrible advice. What is wrong with you? No idea what you're talking about.
That's not how this works.
No, never camps. But
you know what I found out at Moore? There was this nice lady, and we were standing around. It was that night where they had the whiskey tasting for the podcast. So they ran a whiskey. I didn't get any, so I went over and I was talking to people, and we found out she knew nothing about trailers. Someone had hired her to sell trailers, but she
really? Oh gosh,
she knew nothing. So I'm sure she's good at her job. She read the spec sheet, she listened to the pitch, and she learned how to answer the majority of the questions. But she was saying, I don't know anything about trailers. Like, what do you do? I sell trailers.
Okay, makes sense.
Our RV salesman was the exact same way. They knew the basics, but when you started getting into the details on solar panels or batteries or anything electronic, those guys were completely lost.
What's that trailer? I'm old. The Airstream. So in my quest, I stopped by Airstream. I think they're pretty nifty and they're well done. And I said to the guy, so where's the inverter? He said, it's down there somewhere. I said, where exactly somewhere? He says, I don't know. So I got underneath and I looked, and the whole thing is very professionally and neatly enclosed on the bottom. I'm like, not the trailer for me.
Oh, you want something?
I need to do stuff myself. I need
Yeah, you need to know where the stuff is.
Not the trailer for me.
Yeah. So. Ouch. Well, that's good to know. But anyway, in answer to that question, the new trailer has been so far so good. When we get back from after Dayton, we're going to Galveston for a couple weeks, and then it'll be June. We'll be back home. I would like to try to take that thing to a state park about once a month, for like a 1 or 2 night stay, just to do some POTA and just to use the thing, because I like going out. I like being out in the woods, but yeah, the one trip we've had it on, the week-long trip, it worked great. I have no complaints so far. So.
I'm willing to bet you never have a problem with slides in that new camper.
You're right about that.
100%.
You're right about that. And my wife has commented, she's like, there's a lot of space in here for having a camper with no slides on it. And I'm like, well, a camper with slides is all compact when it's all slidden in. So if you don't have to worry about that, then it actually looks like it's pretty good in that one. But yeah, no slides on this one. I love it so far. On the other note, so the place that I took my Salem that still has it, hopefully I'll be able to pick that up this week. They've had it for 5 months, 6 months now. Next week it'll be 6 months. They got it. I took it to them in November, second week of November last year.
They're figuring it out.
No, it's done. It's done. But they had a hailstorm come through.
Ooh.
And she's like, yeah, there's some damage on it. She's like, do you want us to give you a quote and estimate? And I'm like, yeah, I do. It needs to be free because it's been in your care for 5 freaking months and you let it get hail damaged. And she sent me some pictures of it. And I'm like, and I contacted the warranty people and they're like, we can't control acts of God. I'm like, no, but you can control how long it takes you to fix a freaking trailer when I have an extended warranty that I paid you for. So that's going to be a neat, fun video on the channel. Because now I got to call the insurance company and I'm going to tell the insurance company, I'm like, look, it was up here at this place for 5 months. They had all the parts. We ordered all the parts and took them the parts when we took them the trailer. So they had all the parts, and they still took them 5 months to fix it. And,
how much damage was it?
Yeah, there's a couple of ping spots here and there. It broke some skylight on the roof. I wouldn't call it huge, but the quote they gave me was like $6,400 to fix everything. And I'm like, you guys are on crack. And they're like, you don't want us to fix? I'm like, no, I don't want you to fix it because I wouldn't get it back till 2027. And and I'm like, what kind of damage are you gonna do to it between now and the time you get this fixed? I'm like, no, I'm gonna call the insurance company, ask them if my insurance is gonna have to pay for it, and I'm gonna tell the insurance that they should contact these people and tell them to pay for it.
Exactly.
This is not an outlier experience.
Jeez. Oh my gosh.
No,
I'm very sad to say. I hear stories like this often.
It's one good thing about the Nobo insurance that or not insurance, but I bought the extended warranty on the Nobo, the new trailer, and he said he gave me a choice of like 3 different types of insurance, and he's like, well, there's the basic one here, and there's the big one here, and there's one in the middle, and I chose the one in the middle because he told me, he goes, the one in the middle will cover all the mobile repair guys. So if you have a mobile repair guy.
Exactly.
And I'm like, that is why this place in Fort Worth has had my Salem for 5 months, because the mobile repair guy came out and gave me a quote, and Forest River wouldn't. They're like, no, we're not paying that much for it. That's too much. And the mobile repair guy, he's like, I can't. He's like, do you want to pay the balance? I'm like, no, I'm not going to pay for it. I pay for the warranty. So I had to take it to another place. But supposedly with the Nobo warranty, I'll be able to get the mobile repair guy, and he'll just come to the house and do it. I had him work on my older trailer. They'd come out and they'd look at it. They're like, okay, we'll order the parts and we'll let you know when it comes in. 2 or 3 weeks later, they come out, they put the parts in, they're done.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I'm not without it for 5 months. So anyway, yeah, that's been, it's been some really, really good video fodder. And that's about the best thing that's about the only good thing I can say about that old trailer. So.
Big complainants.
But yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I've got big grumps with modern trailers now. I mean, I little known thing. I've been in the commercial radio world for almost 20 years, but I moved back when we moved from Arizona back to Tennessee. I was looking for a job. I can get employed anywhere because they're always looking for techs. So I worked for an RV dealer, and I went up to Indiana and got Liebert certified. So I could fix all their stuff. And the monopoly that Liebert has, pretty much everything that is in a modern camper that comes out of Indiana, has Leaper products in it. Furion.
Mine does.
It's crazy. They have a huge monopoly. But what Bill could probably attest to is between Arizona and Tucson, there's a little section. It's a downhill, then an uphill, and it's all open. I have seen so many of these feather lights and super ultra lights just blown apart by wind. And the MDC I have has a metal shell to it. The stupid thing, as big as it has a 2,800-pound dry weight to it, and it's small. But the stupid thing's a tank. Everybody's like, "Oh, that's not aluminum." No, I was like, "No, it's steel." And the I saw a couple overlanding trailers at Nearfest, and I went over and I just tapped on them, and I'm like, "Nope, don't want that." Nope, don't want that. Because if they're supposed to go off road, they're gonna crumble if you get that thing off. If you get it off kilter and get it twisted, I've seen so many horror stories and insurance issues like you had. My suggestion to you, Jason, is go if your camper was damaged at the RV dealership, their insurance should pay for it.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think too. And I told them that, and I told Forest River that, and they don't want to do that. So I'm going to call my insurance company. I'm going to say, here's the thing. Now, if they're like, oh no, we'll pay for it, and then they try to raise my rates, I'm selling that camper anyway. So you can raise my rates all you want to because your policy is about to get canceled.
Exactly.
But anyway, but yeah, no, that's yeah. And my thing was, it wasn't even the fact that it was damaged in their care. It was damaged in their care after they had it for 5 freaking months.
Exactly.
Should have been done and out of there.
Yeah, exactly. If they would have just fixed it and not sat on it for, because she emailed me like 6 weeks. She's been actually pretty good. The girl at the RV shop, where the repair shop, she's been pretty good about communication. She emailed me like 6 or 8 weeks into it, and she's like, we still haven't even looked at it yet. We got delayed because of blah, 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 excuse. And I'm like, well, whatever. I mean, just let me know when it's done. So, because I knew
you have to fire up that service manager. You have to fire them up and keep on them.
Yeah.
I mean, I only worked for like a year and a half, 2 years in the RV industry, but service, they have very few skilled people in there, and the skilled people are the ones that are babysitting the people that don't have skills and fixing their screw ups, and it's a very hard industry and a very, very poorly manned industry. So you have to keep on that service manager. You have to.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's made some really good videos, and those guys are oblivious to the world of YouTube. They have no idea.
That's good.
I mean, I guess it's good because they're like, I'm blasting them on YouTube, and they don't understand how social media works, and that's okay. But whatever.
Ask Grand
another
Design
industry
how that
that's
works
behind
out.
the times.
Is that Grant Design? Is that the one that keeps getting sued by everybody?
Yeah.
That's the frame failure.
Right. Yeah.
Or frame flex, as
What's
they want to call it.
Grand Design?
Grand Design.
Mm-hmm. They flex so much that you can't even open the sliders. The sliders are done.
Sounds familiar.
Well, no, I'm talking about, there's a YouTuber out there, and I can't remember, I want to say it's a woman. I can't remember her name, but all she does is bad RV reviews. Like, she finds stuff that just falls apart, which is apparently not hard to do, and it's just bad RV, and she just totally rips them. She's got like, I don't know, several 100,000 subs, and apparently she keeps getting sued by these RV manufacturers. She's like, we can't say that. It's like, look, everything I just said is proven right here.
It's
you guys pull your heads,
pictures.
Pull your heads out of your asses when you're building something, and maybe I wouldn't give you a bad review. So
it's a shame that telling the truth gets you
right.
Such hard life.
Exactly.
And it's just like Airstream. Airstream's quality has gone down. I looked in a brand new Airstream on Saturday, and I was like, oh my God, who built this? This is not Airstream of like the 70s and 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
This is like a bunch of dudes got together and threw some OSB together, and painted it pretty, and put it in a airplane shell. You know, and they're charging $70,000 and $80,000 for these things.
I know it. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, Brooks says it's Liz Amazing. That sounds right.
Yeah,
it's the YouTube channel Liz Amazing or Liz Amazing or Liz Amazing, something like that.
Liz Amazing. That's what I said.
Yeah. So, yeah, go out there. She's like, well, don't buy this one. Here's how it followed apart. And I'm like, golly, what a channel.
Right.
But
I told my wife we should start the same theme because we hear so many horror stories out on the road.
Yeah.
We'd get a lot of subscribers that way.
For sure. Yeah.
All right, guys. Again? What was it?
Liz Amazing. Liz Amazing. Yep.
Cease and desist from telling the truth.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I've got photo evidence.
Oh my goodness.
Stop it anyway.
Yeah, that's like Phil Muth, W0RPH. That's why more trailers are going away from Liebert frames. Yeah, they're just junk, in my opinion. But that's me.
Well, this has been a fun. It's been a fun chat, guys. I appreciate y'all's time tonight, and I think what we'll probably do is go ahead and plan on because my next giveaway stream is going to probably be the first Sunday in June. So I think let's go ahead and plan on doing a this episode again immediately after that. I liked how many people we were able to pull over here from the ham radio giveaway stream. So. That was fun. Might as well,
Did you get like 1,000 people in there on that stream?
It was 1,200.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Peaked around 1,230, 1,240 at some point in time. Yeah.
Is that all?
It's amazing. It's amazing what giving away free radios would do for you. So, and somebody had mentioned up here, give away a free RV, and I'm like, I would love to. I would love to give away a free RV. That's great.
We got one with a little hail damage.
I'll give you a Salem right now. Yeah. I'll pay you $100 to take it, actually. So, but hey guys, thanks a lot for your time tonight. I will put links to Michael. Do you have a Tortoise Overland? Is that a YouTube channel or is that just like your Instagram?
No, it is also a YouTube channel.
Okay.
And I don't post that much, but I mean, I've been talking with Eric and N1JUR and Paul N1OG, and I'm definitely thinking about putting something together, doing some reviews. I'm not the best narration person, but just doing some reviews and how-tos, especially between the amateur radio and the quote-unquote RV world. I've always wanted to do it, but I never had the oomph. But now that I've been on a few channels, now I kind of want to do it some more.
Good. Well, make sure I have a link to it. I'll put it into the description of this video. Jason, do you have a second channel also? I was thinking that you did.
No, just the one.
Okay, just the one.
The one. I've put a few RV videos up on my primary channel, but they're all ham radio related.
Didn't you do a video about that slow spin up AC modification, or did you not?
No.
Okay.
I did not do that.
Okay, I was thinking that you had a video about that, but maybe not.
No.
So, okay, cool. Thank you, Freddie Mac. All right, guys, 73 to all, which is ham radio speak for good well wishes and good wishes, and have a good evening. And, check us out. Thank you for all the new subscribers tonight. I know that there's a few of you out there, and we're going to do this again in about a month. So until next time, stay safe on the road. Later.
Later, guys.
73.
Later.
See ya.
See ya.